Hi, everybody. Welcome to Matt Chat. My name's Donna Rubin. This is our fourth segment in our Celebrity Yoga Teacher Series. And I'm really excited for my next guest, someone who I've known actually for quite a few years. How I actually met, not even through yoga, but more through bodywork years ago at Kirpalu. And since I did my session at Kirpalu, I kept newsletter. And in the newsletter, I was always every month getting all this information. And I would say maybe 10 years later, all of a sudden I said, you know what? This person is now doing yoga nidra teacher training. And I am interested in yoga nidra right now. So Jennifer Reese, she has been teaching yoga for 26 years. But she's been practicing for 31 years. Now, the reason why I call Jennifer a celebrity yogi is because she has been teaching her yoga teacher training. She has 2 teacher trainings, and she's been teaching students all over the world. And by being on the faculty of Kirpalu, I'll just read her bio in 1 second. She has met people literally from everywhere and taught thousands and thousands of students. So anyway, she's just my favorite person in the whole wide world. And I just love what she does. So let me just give you a quick little bio, and then we will get to know Jennifer just a little bit better. So Jennifer Reese, she created Divine Sleep, Yoga Nidra, and 5 Elements Yoga. So both of these are trainings that she does, okay? And she'll tell you a little bit more about what Yoga Nidra actually is for those of you who don't know already. And she is an ERYT 500-hour certified Yoga Alliance teacher. She's also a certified yoga therapist, and she's on faculty, like I said, of Kirpalu Yoga Center and the Integrative Yoga Therapy faculty as well. And for those of you who don't know what Kirpalu is, it's a beautiful, beautiful center in Lenox, Massachusetts, where you can go for the day if you wish, or you can go and just participate in so many different types of workshops, types of trainings, not just yoga, but all different types of workshops. So it's a beautiful place if you've never been, and you can see Jennifer there because that's where she teaches. So welcome to Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining me. And of course, Jennifer's also going to be doing a little portion of our upcoming teacher training as well. So let's get to know you just a little bit better. Okay, so thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me here, Donna. It's lovely to be with you.
Oh, thank you. What I always like to know, I like to start from the beginning, which is, tell us just a little bit about who you were before you started your whole yoga journey. A little bit of background, a little bit of context,
Sure. So I too am Canadian, and I was in college when I first found out about yoga. So before I was doing yoga, I was a college student. I was studying Buddhism and Eastern religion and anthropology, and my major was fine arts. So I was gearing to become an artist, which I eventually did become a professional artist in Canada and exhibited nationally and did a wonderful artist in residence at the Banff Centre for the Arts and was receiving Canada Council art grants, and when I lived in Ontario, Ontario Arts Council grants, which was amazing because in the United States there's no sort of individual artist system where you can get funding to create non-commercial art and exhibit in artist-run centers. So that's what I was up to.
Yay, Canada, right?
Yay, Canada! And I have no idea what things are like there now with that kind of funding, because I've really shifted out of the art world and into the yoga world, and that actually happened because I moved to the United States and I couldn't figure out how to continue being the kind of artist I was able to be in Canada here, and yoga was, really taking off for me. So the reason I actually came to yoga and found out about yoga is because my favorite aunt, my auntie Val, she would always stand around washing the dishes in tree pose. And she had this long brown flowing hair, which I guess now I have long flowing brown hair, whatever. But and I thought, wow, she's a yoga person. She's my whole childhood, and I thought, I'm going to do yoga one day. That I'm going to do that too, because she's my idol and I love her. And she was a disco dancer and all
Ah,
kinds of things, and a Romanian dancer. And so, as it turns out, in adulthood, I asked her, so did you ever do yoga? And she's like, no. That's just how she washed the dishes, was in a tree pose all the time.
oh my
So,
God.
I always knew I had a calling for it. And I was really interested in the East and Eastern practices and religion and philosophy. And my back was hurting, my neck was hurting, I was having headaches. And my chiropractor said, you should go to yoga. So I looked up where to go in yoga, and that was actually, I think, actually 33 years ago. And there were only like, a couple places you could do yoga in all of Vancouver, BC. And so I went to the community center and did Iyengar yoga, and we did every single pose twice, which was really nice. And there were always hands on assists back in the day. It was really wonderful, and I fell in love with it. I remember my first sun salutation. I kid you not. I remember it clearly because that was the moment that I was like, wow, there is something completely different going on here. I had done swim team and gymnastics and dance as a kid, but when I did that sun salutation, I could feel energy and breath going from my head to my toes, from my toes to my head, back and forth as I flowed through. And I never felt that quite the same again like that. And it was a beautiful, deep experience. And then I was a commuter on my bike for 9 years. And when I hopped on my bike to go home after yoga class, I was like, wow, everything is moving in a different way. There's a sense of flow, integration, calmness, and peace. And I was hooked.
Wow. So you just kind of like, it was your calling and you just figured now's the time. Your doctor told you to go try it. And then you were getting basically the benefits that you were looking for, right? The benefits in terms of the physicality or whatever that you were hoping to get initially, right?
Yes, it was physical, and it was even beyond. Like it got me in touch with my energy body. It was like a deeper experience within myself that I think I was really longing for, and also I have to say, I was such a driven, fiery person. I mean, I still am, and I need the yoga practices and meditation to help keep me grounded and calm and focused, because otherwise I can be a little bit like wildfire.
Mhm, mhm.
So it was really giving me an even tone within that I was also longing for. And I can't even imagine if I didn't discover yoga and meditation. I don't know who I would be at this point, and what illnesses, or if I would still be even alive. I don't know. Who knows? We can't say what would happen otherwise, but I don't like to imagine that at all.
Yeah, so it's interesting because my next question is usually like, how has sort of yoga affected your life, both physically, and professionally, so, what kind of transformations or whatever have happened to you through the yoga. So you already answered number one, which is about how it's affected your whole life emotionally and just made you the person that you are today. And then how did it sort of take its sort of next turn in terms of you going from a yogi for your own personal, enjoyment and benefit to then wanting to share it to a larger group of people? How did that sort of come about?
Gosh, I don't even know if I can remember exactly. There were probably many things, but I was really tired of being an artist and a waitress at the same time. And I wasn't tired of being an artist, but I was really tired of waitressing, which I did through college and then after college to help supplement, my art career as I was getting going. And there was this strange place in the United States, and I was waitressing in Toronto and an artist there as well, and thought, I wonder if I should do this yoga teacher training. And I had been given the exact amount of money that was for, that would pay for the tuition. And I was the last person to sign up. I was so skeptical, and I didn't trust myself or my own voice. I didn't trust that I could teach or that I would be able to give anyone anything. I wasn't even thinking of teaching. Actually, I was thinking I just want to know more for myself. But in the process, I really learned that I do have a voice. I found my voice. I found a kind of a grounding. And I'm an eternal student. And sometimes that's a great thing if you can also turn around and share what you learn, because I've been this eternal student, as you were saying in my bio. Like, I do yoga therapy. I'm also a licensed massage therapist, and et cetera, et cetera. And so all these things I've been able to study and learn over the years at Kirpalu, because I've been a teacher there for 21 years, comes through everything that I do. And I feel so blessed that I could study so many amazing things over all these years and then be able to offer them out into the world.
So you did your teacher training initially at Kripalu? Like that's where you went to do the training?
I did. That was the weird place in the United States that I
Oh,
found
okay.
out about, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And not that it's weird or anything, but to me, like I'd never heard of it. I didn't know anything about it. It was this whole doorway into the yoga world that I had only been at, a couple of yoga studios. Back in that day, there were only, I think, two or three yoga studios in Toronto. I
Right.
mean, it was really it like blew up in the next like few years after that. So I trusted the universe. I came down to where I've been now for 21 years. And that was I think 26 years ago that I did my yoga teacher training. And then I assisted many programs and became a volunteer. And I lived at Kripalu for a whole year as a volunteer. And that's where I fell in love with my husband, and we got married. And I was able to stay. And so this is where I've spent the bulk of my life now, is sort of circling around Kripalu and teaching there on faculty every week.
Well, lucky you, because I just came back from that area. We were going to hook up, but we didn't manage to hook up, and it is absolutely so beautiful there. But it's just so strange because I spent a summer coming from Toronto over there to Jacob's Pillow, which is the dance festival that's just like so close to Kripalu. So I spent a summer there doing dance, and I also knew nothing about yoga at that time. And so now when I look at that, I'm like, oh my God, like I only wish that I had started yoga so many more years before I did, because honestly, I think that yoga can only just enhance your career, whatever it is that you're doing. You don't have to go into teaching yoga or making a transition in that way, but it can just assist you in all the other careers that you're doing. So anyway, it just brought back all those memories. But this time I drove over to Kripalu too, because now I have been to Kripalu for a few, yoga like trainings and things like that. So anyway, that was really fun, and it's just absolutely beautiful there. So lucky you. So So while you were there, or since you've been there, you obviously managed to gather all this different wealth of knowledge that you have and all the learning that you've had over all the years. And then you like literally created your own style of a teacher training, because you're not teaching Kirpalu yoga. You've named it your 5 elements yoga. And then you also developed your own yoga nidra training. And again, there's other yoga nidra trainings, but you developed something that's unique to you. So do you want to tell us just like a little bit about how, you sort of designed your programs with your own voice?
Sure. So it really happens so organically. I can't even tell you. It's just bizarre. So when I started living there as a volunteer, so this was 21 years ago, the person, Aruni, who's an amazing teacher who still teaches at Kirpalu to this day, she was in charge of curriculum. And she said, Jennifer, you're going to teach Yoga Nidra. We think you'd be good at that. And I mean, I didn't really know what she was talking about, although I was a longtime Buddhist meditator and yogi. And okay, this is funny. My mom said I had a terrible singing voice
Oh,
when I was growing up. So I always actually thought I didn't really have a nice voice. But as it turns out, well, I don't really have a great singing voice, but my speaking voice is better, and I didn't know. So sometimes it takes someone hearing and seeing you that can um, help you focus and cultivate what your gifts are in the world. Because even within yoga, there are so many different focuses that a teacher or a student could have and go into. It's really a whole world within itself. So I was so happy to start leading Yoga Nidra. So I bought a book, the only book on Yoga Nidra back then, Swami Satyananda Saraswati's book. And I was reading through the scripts and realized, oh gosh, I can't say this. There were all kinds of really sort of tantric, gory things in there that maybe if you're at an ashram in India, you would want to meditate on. But I knew I really had to adapt it for the population in the United States and for who I was leading. And so it just really happened naturally. I started taking those scripts and adapting them and then adding my own. And because I'm a very visual person, being an artist, a sculptor and painter, it really just happened naturally. And also, I'm a really avid outdoor person. Growing up in Western Canada, we were just outside all the time, even in the winter, skiing in the Rockies and things like that. So it really just sort of wove itself in. So there is a component of there's 8 stages to divine sleep yoga nidra, and one of those components is using your imagination to go into nature, because nature really can help heal and balance us, of course. And we are composed of the 5 elements. So we're going inward and visiting the 5 elements, and in so doing, balancing our inner 5 elements. And that's just one aspect of it. So I have done other yoga nidra trainings and things like that. And longtime Buddhist meditator. I practiced Vipassana with Goenka for many years, as well as Thich Nhat Hanh, and went on retreat with Thich Nhat Hanh many times. And so I'm weaving all these things together because what Yoga Nidra is a meditation, a yogic meditation. And actually, Buddhism, the Buddha was a yogi. And there's so many beautiful, beautiful forms of Buddhist meditation. So those are woven through to some degree as well.
yeah. Well, I've taken now your part 1 and part 2, and really, it's just brought me to a whole new level. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just such a wonderful event that takes place once you go into that sort of meditative aspect. And your voice is very nice. It's very enjoyable to listen to your voice. And yeah, so I just I encourage anyone who's never tried your yoga nidra to definitely to experience it, because it's absolutely amazing.
Mm.
What I was going to ask you is, so overall, your years of teaching and teaching people, like you said, from, well, anybody there's people from all over the world that actually come to Kirpalu, and then you've done teacher trainings for people all over the world. What would you say is your most rewarding experience as a instructor, leader, practitioner? What? Yeah.
Yeah, oh boy, that's a hard one because it's been so very, very, very many years. But what's a delight for me is, I made that shift from being an professional artist into yoga, being yoga really being my main thing that I'm doing, teaching yoga. And I would say for me, it's the people connecting with people and giving people new tools to help them be calm, to help them connect internally within themselves and their energy and their deeper wishes and desires within their life, as well as, oh, what was the other thing I was going to say? I'm not sure, but connecting with people and, oh, big one, helping them sleep,
Wow.
helping people
Yes.
to sleep and shift the nervous system into parasympathetic so that one can become calm and rejuvenate after stress more easily and effectively, and also teach your nervous system how to sleep, or at least how to get calm enough so that sleep could happen.
Yeah. So you've really, that's sort of in a way has become your specialty. And again, like you said, it just kind of became, it was organically, or it was meant to be, let's put it that way, right? Because all these years have come along and now you've created this, and now it seems like that's your kind of specialty, which is great, and everybody needs it, and it's very timely now for sure. All I ever hear from anybody I speak to lately is, oh, I couldn't sleep, oh, I didn't sleep, oh, I can't sleep, oh, I mean, it's like unbelievable. I mean, it's epidemic, people's sleep, issues. So anyway, thank goodness that we do have these tools, right? And they definitely do, they do help. So my last question is, so you're going to be joining us for our teacher training for a little segment. You're one of our guest lecturers. So maybe you can just give us just a little heads up about, what you're going to be covering in your session.
Well, we'll definitely we'll get to practice yoga nidra, which is really really a sweet thing because it offers you this way to go into your inner universe and into yourself, because our senses are so bombarded and going outward all the time, and yoga, and especially these meditative forms of yoga, allow us to go inward, to connect and to rejuvenate within and to balance. So we'll focus on two primary things, which are the real basics that I see of Divine Sleep Yoga Nidra, which is the body scan or body sensing, which is just a beautiful meditation of leading a person through to feel each different part of the body in different ways. And so we'll learn more background on that, why it's important, what it can do for people, what populations it's really, specifically good for, how it can help you sleep. I certainly know that when I'm leading the body scan part in my Divine Sleep Yoga Nidra, that's when classes start snoring. That's when people start falling asleep and snoring. It's very meditative, it's very rhythmic, it's very relaxing. It's earth element, very grounding and like anti-anxiety and sleep inducing. And so it's really great. And the other thing we're going to focus a lot on is the heart's longing, the heart's intention. What does my heart long for right now? And finding a way to sort of go beyond the thinking mind and into the heart space, which is called the higher mind, the wisdom part of ourselves, within yoga. So we are working with yoga philosophy, the 5 koshic levels of being. So we'll learn what all these 5 levels are and how to access and activate them, through all the stages of Yoga Nidra, specifically focusing on the heart's longing and the body scan. Those two things together are such gems.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such an important bit of knowledge for our student base and our teachers to be, because we're heavily focused on the physical, which is wonderful. I mean, we love the physical and it's all terrific. But I sort of feel like this is almost like the next level of a practice in a way, because once you're able to get relaxed and feel good, and after doing your hatha yoga practice, then to really sort of understand what can happen after that is very good information. And I think you describe it very well, the way you present it, and it makes people understand and not be afraid, because look, a lot of people are kind of afraid of some of the other aspects of yoga. I mean, people who are, like I said, people who are really into the physical aspect of yoga, they might not be interested in the other aspects of yoga. But when it's presented in a way that you're able to talk about it, then I think it makes it much more accessible and understanding. And then people can really get the benefits of that practice, and not think of it as something woo woo out there in the world. Think of it more like, oh yeah, yes, I really get it. I really get it. And you know what? Look, I've been practicing for, I think, also like 26 years or whatever. And I was one of those people that was like, meditation, this, that, not for me, not for me. And it's taken me years to really be open to all of these things. So, anyway, we're all on our own journey, right? We all are able to understand things at our own pace, at our own time. Main thing is just to sort of be open and learn. And like you said, I think the whole learning, being always the student, always the student. I mean, I think that's great. And yoga has so many aspects to it that it's an unlimited learning experience, right? It's like,
Absolutely, it really is. And yeah, just you hit on a really sweet point there, which is like a lot of people are afraid of meditation or not that interested or even pushing it away. And this style of meditation is just so embracing because the teacher is talking all the way through. And so there's no fear of getting stuck in your own repetitive thoughts. In a way, I use music, when I'm leading my teacher trainings, I offer that you can use music or you don't have to use music. It's always optional, but because that music is there, it gives people a lot of different ways of tapping in that are not scary in a kind of a way, because a lot of people are afraid of, I think, seated silent meditation.
right, right,
Which
right.
that sounds, that can sound like being imprisoned or something. But this style really gives you so much freedom because you're generally lying down, you're comfortable, you can move if you need to, and there's a loving support there, an embracing support the whole way through.
Well, I think that's wonderful. And I'm so glad that you're going to be joining us. And I'm so glad to talk with you. And like I say to all my guests, we could go on and on and on and chat about all kinds of things, which we will continue to do. But thank you for joining me for this little mat chat. And there'll be more to come. So I will be seeing you soon, either online or in person, or however it all works itself out. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much. This was real fun.
Good, good, good. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.